Namaste, namaste, happy Thursday. Welcome everybody. I hope you started an amazing day. Today I'm doing a special live, and that is about why am I not manifesting my desire or desires. So it's going to be a really important live, but I have a few requirements. Number one, if you're multitasking, please stop, because if you're multitasking, this live or anything else is not going to be really helpful, because you have to grasp every word that I'm saying. So for that, I would like you all to stop multitasking. Number two, during this live, we're going to also make it a mindful practice. And my always teaching, thought, cut, silence. So what I'm asking you guys during this live, the minute you notice that your mind is wandering around, come to your fully consciousness and just simply call it thought. So you notice that your mind is saying, oh, before it says, oh my God, at the first word, oh, you're going to cut it out and just simply say thought. And I would like you to write in the comments, thought. All you have to do is, the minute you notice that your mind is wandering off, simply write thought. And I can see that your mind has gone somewhere else, and very quickly you bring yourself to fully being conscious and just pay attention to the rest of the life. Now, anytime when you listen to my live, because it's so compacted with so much information, you're probably not going to be able to grasp the whole life. Therefore, I'm asking you guys, in order for me to be able to help you out, you need to also participating with the practice that I'm constantly teaching you guys, and also to listen to the live a few times and write it down. There is totally a different energy, understanding when you're writing things down. Okay? So without any further ado, I'm going to be starting the live. Why can't I manifest my desire or my desires? When you always listen to other people or read about law of attractions or how to manifest things, the first thing that comes in mind is the mind, right? So what you would like to do is to take an inventory of your thoughts during the day. If you spend a couple of days and not to connect yourself with any of the conversation that your mind is having, the chatter in your mind, and constantly separating yourself from it, you're going to be listening to what the mind is saying, and then take an inventory. At the end of the day, look up everything that your mind was saying, and then simply you can see the majority of your thoughts. Are they negative? Are they pulling you down? Or are they positive and very uplifting? So by doing this a couple of days, you are an observer of the thought. You are the watcher of the thoughts, right? Now, coming back to why you're not manifesting your desires, is because they say the mind is creating, I don't know, about 75,000 to 90,000 thoughts per day. And if you take an inventory, you will see that the quality of your thoughts doesn't have any consistency. Meaning, some of your thoughts might be positive, uplifting. Some of your thoughts might be negative. It's worrisome, worrying about the future, what life has planned for you. So you have to kind of become the watcher of the thoughts to see the majority of your thoughts during the day or before you go to sleep. What are they? Are they mainly positive or negatives, right? So we assume, according to what law of attraction says, your thoughts becomes things, meaning your thoughts are creating your reality, right? But luckily, everything that we're thinking about doesn't show up in our reality. Because if you're someone who is constantly having negative thoughts and worrisome, imagine if all of your thoughts will become manifested right away. It wouldn't be a good picture, right? So you know that all of your thoughts are not come in or show up in your reality. Yet the way it goes is, what are the majority of your thoughts day after day after day, right? So right off the top, I'm going to tell you, this is why I keep telling you guys to be on the practice of thought cut silence, or constantly be aware to separate yourself from the ego mind, right? Okay, now the thought is not the only thing that manifests in your life. Also, your thoughts then moves in to the next body, which is the emotional body. Emotional body. E equal as energy, motion. Emotion is energy in motion, right? And we always say that the universe is a feeling mechanism, meaning however you feel, you vibrate at a different frequency. So the universe is responding back not only to your thoughts, but also responding back mainly as how you feel. So this is what I want you to ask yourself right now. What would be if you and I start taming the mind? What would your reality be if you were capable of, when you listen to the mind and the mind has a negative message, you were able to change the meaning and to change the feeling that comes? I'm going to give you guys an example. Imagine if your thought is saying, oh my God, the economy is really bad. And then you listen to the economy is really bad. Then you ask yourself, how else? How can I change this? And you change it into, the economy can be anything, is neither good or bad, but I can make out of it whatever I wish or desire. And then by changing the meaning or translation of what your mind has previously said, change it into a positive, uplifting meaning. The other way that I can do that is when I hear, oh, the economy is really bad and everything is going to crash and you don't know how bad it is. I listen to that, I stop it, and I say, oh my God, the universe has a wonderful plan for me. The universe has always backed me up. The universe is the one who gives it or takes it. So is the divine plan. You separate yourself from the unreal reality that your mind has created previously, right? So can we do this? Do you guys think this would be helpful to start this practice? That when you listen to the mind, you don't go by the translation of the mind. The only thing you have to do, if you notice, if it's positive, great. You come in with a positive feeling, happy, joyful feeling. You change the meaning. How can I make this an exercise? Make this a daily task? How can I change the meaning? How can I change it into a positive, uplifting feeling? And then feel that. When you trust the universe, when you trust the divine plan, when you trust that is an intelligent universe is in place, and you trust and you surrender to the higher power, therefore you can create that feeling that the universe is backing me up. The universe has my back. In the universe, when I am connected to the wholeness, everything is here. All I have to do is to surrender and trust the divine plan. Okay? Now let's move on to the next part. So the first part is thought, and you're going to learn and you're going to be on this practice to change that, to change the meaning if it's negative to positive. And you are aware that all day long, since you are a vibrating machine, you're vibrating according to the emotions, and all you have to do is you have to be vibrating in the good feeling. And how can you feel good? What can you do, or how can you translate the mind to be positive? And how can you feel content, protected, and feeling joyful? So what I think when I'm looking at other people talking about law of attractions or manifestations, they often don't put enough emphasis of the quality of your daily thoughts. And also, the thoughts are coming mainly not from subconscious mind, yet they're coming from the conscious mind, right? So when we are thinking about the past, or when we're thinking about the future, what am I going to do in the future? Whatever thoughts, ideas come to you, they're mainly from the conscious mind. What about more than 95% in your subconscious mind? What about all the programming conditioning beliefs of the hidden subconscious mind. This is very important to pay attention to, because if all I'm doing, I'm just acting and reacting to what is here in the conscious mind, which is less than 5%, then you realize that you don't know what is in the hardware, in the library of your subconscious mind. What are the old beliefs? What are the hidden agendas of your subconscious mind? So this is very important to start really studying and knowing the mind, how it acts, how it behaves. And a lot of people here, they think in less than their 5% of the conscious mind, they can really do the manifestation. Why? During this 40 some years that I've been doing coaching, I realized that oftentimes people are acting, reacting to the dramas, the traumas of their childhood and later on. A lot of time we don't know that the way I'm feeling right now, the way I'm acting out right now, where is this coming from? I mean, when you get mad at someone, or when you get sad, or when you get depressed, how often do you back up and look at the situation and see, where is this really coming from? If you do that, if you learn, which is also needs a lot of awareness and mindfulness, then when a situation happens, especially when it's really hard, especially when you feel that you are powerless, especially when you feel that this events or this interaction with another human being, it's so hurtful to you, it just takes you out of control, and you have no choice but acting out. It needs a lot of mindfulness and awareness to not to act out at that moment and move back, separate yourself from the person or the situation, sit deeply in it and say, what's the root cause of this showing up right now? Where is it that I'm acting from? Am I acting from right here? What really triggers me? And when you give yourself enough time to sit back, you might realize that, oh, this is what happened in my childhood. Every time I want to do so, my parents, my father, my mother, or whatever, were saying this. So it takes a lot for you guys to realize that we are really acting out our childhood, our traumas, our wounds, and not to really think, what this person said to me right now, this is what is really triggering me. So it's very important when I'm mindful, I'm always realizing that what I'm doing right now has nothing to do with the event that's taking place right here. It's always going back to my childhood, is always going back to my upbringing. And I know sometimes parents get upset, But I have worked with, God knows, so many people during these at least 30 years of coaching, that I'm working with a lot of people who are wounded from where? Parents. And if I say some parents, and I did a live a while back, and I said, our parents, our closest people to us, could be energy vampire, and a lot of time I hear mothers especially gets upset. That why would you say that? I've done everything that I could have for my child. Why would you say that I was energy vampire? But we don't realize that every time we say no to a child, every time we compare a child to someone else, every time directly or indirectly we tell our children that they're bad kids, or they're not behaving well, or they're never going to be able to do that, or they have to be the good girl, or they have to be the good boy. Every time we say that, this is a way, a gaslighting, or in a way is we are being energy vampires. So it doesn't matter that you didn't have a good life. We cannot hold on to that excuse forever that, oh my God, you should have seen my childhood. You think my parents were any better? You This is not an excuse to say, because I didn't have a good upbringing, because I didn't have parents who were aware or conscious, and this is how I was brought up, therefore I'm not going to change my approach. I'm just going to continue the bad behavior that my parents were doing. This is not the right way. So at some point of time, we have to stop with our excuses. What happened to me? How great, how grand, how awful. That does not give me the okay to ruin another human being's life. This is where I have to really fully take responsibility that whatever happened to me, I am not my childhood traumas. And I cannot act out, hurt another human being, whether verbally, physically, emotionally, because once upon a time, I was a wounded child. If you are someone that you right now, as you're listening to me, you're saying that, oh my God, this is me, you need to stop and take responsibility. Okay, so right now I want to ask you guys, if you just joined me, first of all, welcome. At the beginning of my life, I asked you not to multitask. So please, if you're multitasking, if you think you're listening to me, but while you're making lunch, do not do that. Stop right now. I need your full undivided attention right now. The second part, which I want us to apply right now, is that every time you catch yourself that the mind is wandering off, I want you to stop it right there and just write a comment, thought. You just simply catching yourself that your mind got distracted. Write in the comment, thought, and bring your full attention back on me. All I want is everyone's attention to be on me. Okay, moving on. So first part, why am I not manifesting my desires? First part is looking at the thoughts, the quality of the thoughts. Second and most important part is that when you took an inventory of your daily thoughts, now that you're aware that they're mainly positive or they're mainly negative, the main practice starts from here, right now. Thoughts cut, if you listen to the thoughts, what did that mean? What did my mind was trying to say? And right then, you're going to, no matter positive or negative, you're going to come into your emotional body and you're going to tell yourself, I have to, or I would like to, vibrate on a higher vibration. So, what is the best feeling? What is the best feeling that I can have right now? And I also said, because the majority of us, it's really hard for us to create that good high vibrational feeling. What you can do as a tool is to remind yourself, to tell your mind and ego that there is a huge conscious universe, and that huge conscious universe, I am an atom of that wholeness. Therefore, everything exists in the universe. The universe, it's a friendly universe. The universe always, always has my back. So the minute you come to that understanding that you are not alone, you are not the thinker of the thoughts, the thinking machine is creating those thoughts, and you separate yourself from the thoughts, and you connect yourself, you come back to your wholeness, you become one with the wholeness. Just imagine and picture. Imagine the universe. Even for a while, maybe you can just put the whole universe photo on your phone. And every time you see your mind is wandering off, cut it out and look at the picture and say, I am that. I am that I am. I am an atom of the whole universe. Got it? Okay. Moving on. When you separate yourself from the thinking machine, what is remain? I would like you to all write a comment for me. I constantly keep saying that. If I took your mind out of your system, if I take your brain out, and if we suppose the thoughts are created in the brain, like we put the mind into the brain, I don't agree with that, but anyhow, let's suppose that is true, that our thoughts are created in the mind. If I took your mind off your head, what would remain in your reality? If there is no mind, what would remain in your reality? Nothing. Zero. Therefore, this brings you to this truth, that your mind is creating your reality. If there is no mind, there is no reality. And what I constantly say, that our reality, it's Maya. What does that mean? That means the minute you listen to the mind, you even become conscious of the mind, you have a reality, you have an outer world. The minute your consciousness moves away from the mind, or in another word, when you are able to quiet down the mind, the consciousness shifts away somewhere else, you don't have a reality. So, you want to know, I sent you guys a post a couple of weeks ago, or maybe I even talked about it in my previous live. I said, what is real is that it's always there. If your reality can appear and disappear, it's not real, right? So what's real is always in existence. My reality is creation of my mind ego. Once I become one with the mind ego, I have a reality. There is war out there. The economy is bad. The gas price moved up. Once I separate myself from the mind and ego, there is no reality. When there is no reality, there is nothing to do. All my actions become unnecessary. If there is no word, if there is no reality, then what is it that you're going to do? Then you realize that all our actions have no purpose or no meaning. So in your reality, you have a lot of unsatisfied desires. Now I want your whole attention right now, please. Okay, stay focused. The topic of my life today is, why can't I manifest my desires? Number one, I want you to ask, who is or what is the one who's asking this question? I want you to question the one who's after desires. Question the one. Now I want you to write a comment for me. Who is it who has this desire? Who or what? Write a comment for me. The one who is saying, I have a desire, or I have a lot of desires that are not manifested. Why? Who or what is that who's asking this question? Who is the one? Mind? Very good. Who is the one who went through a judgment and said, I had some desires. Desires is also connected to needs. Why do you have a desire? Because you believe your desire is giving you contentment. You believe that you have some unsatisfied need. And because you listen to the ego mind, and the ego mind is never satisfied, therefore the ego mind creates some needs. Let's suppose you say, I really want to be successful. I wanted to have my own company. And right now, as I'm looking out there in my reality, that company is not there. Therefore, I am dissatisfied, and I'm in the quest of finding out why my desires are not manifesting. So what I'm asking you right now is, question the one who has the desire. Who or what is it that says, I have desires and needs, and it's not out there? You realize. Thank you guys for buying badges. SH Maro, thank you for buying badges, guys. The one who is saying, I am not manifesting my desires is the mind and ego. Now, my question is, again, if you work on releasing or removing the needs, what would happen there? Did you ever think that if you can overcome the mind and ego, your needs and desires will disappear? Have you ever thought about that? Or I put it in another way. As long as you believe you are the ego mind, there is going to be needs and desires, and you're going to end up being dissatisfied. Needs doesn't empower you. On the contrary, when you have a lot of needs to be seen, to be heard, when you have a lot of desires and needs, that's a way, one of the tools that the ego mind disempower you. Listen to this. Desires, needs does not empower you. When I have a need, then I have to start doing things. Then I have to sometimes even break my morals, because my need has a lot more impact, is bigger. My need, this need is so huge that I have to do whatever I can to overcome this need. Even if I have to break the rules, even if I have to go over my morals, yet I still do that. Instead of desire, what do we do with just being? With just being? The first step is really try to get what I'm saying. Needs and desires does not empower you. Let this really sink in. What you need to learn is how to overcome those needs or unsatisfying situation that is going on. That's the first step. Once you separate yourself from the ego mind, there's no need or desire for the character to go after it. Do you remember the story that I told you about someone who went to Papaji, the Indian guru? When the guy said, "Are you saying, Papaji, if I don't do anything, if I just be, all my desires, my rent money, my expenses, all of this is going to magically show up?" If that's the truth, what you're saying, my guru, then I'm just going to sit under a tree and just be. And Papaji said, go ahead and do that. When he goes and sit there, what happens? When you say, is this really true that I'm a human being and I'm here just to be? And if I don't do anything, if I don't take any action, I am being supported by an intelligent universe? First of all, no one really believes this. except the gurus and that 1% who are already awakened. But what happens, the end of story, the next day he comes back again. So Papaji asked him, he says, what happened? He said, well, when I went and I sat under a tree, the ants start coming up my pants and they start beating me up. And then 1 hour later, the ice cream man passed by and he said, ice cream, ice cream. And then I had to go and get the ice cream. Then I realized that I am very distracted and I went back home. Right? So nobody can really, because the one who wants to grasp this is again the ego mind. The ego mind is never going to allow you to really get this, that if you just sit and be who you are, a human being, the life is happening. There's nowhere to go, nothing to do. But the mind and ego doesn't allow you to do that. Okay? So Ava said, I'm widow. Ava, who or what is the one who said, I am, you are window? Oh, you are window. Okay. All right, I read widow. So you are a window. Okay, great. Who is the one who's saying that I am this or that? Who is the one? There we go, ego and mind. So if we constantly let go of our aspects, I am female or male, I am the daughter of so-and-so, I am the husband of so-and-so, I am an engineer. If we start dropping whatever comes after I, what remains? What remains if you drop everything that comes after I? I am. Drop the am. I am a girl. Drop after I, therefore you are not a girl. I am a trainer. Drop that after I, you are not a trainer. What we really are, the real I, is one with everything, with the wholeness. So if you are one with the wholeness, how can you be a girl or a boy? Because in the wholeness, there is everything, right? So whatever separates you from the wholeness, which also pull you into misery, is the ego mind. Realize that. Okay? So now, coming back to our topic today, why can't I manifest my desires? The first thing I want to ask you is, at what level of consciousness is this question coming from? If it is coming from, if you tell me from the 4th and 5th, I would say in the level of 4th or 5th, there's no desires. Because if you're everything and everything is already here, therefore, why would you have a desire? If I say the universe is the whole supermarket and this is a free supermarket, and you go into the supermarket and you get and pick up anything that you want or you desire, then why would you think about anything else? If everything is free, if everything is created, if everything is accessible to you, then what remains for you to do? Nothing, right? But if you come and operate from the 3rd dimension, here, like I said, is duality. From the 4th dimension, we enter a non-duality. There is no separation anymore. The ego, mind, soul, and all the other souls and everything in existence is one. Nothing it separates. In third dimension, in the third level of consciousness, there is duality, right? So probably the majority of people who are saying, why am I not manifesting my desires, they're operating from the third level. So again, here I'm going to talk with those of you guys who are in the third dimension. First step, your thoughts is creating your reality. If I take your brain out, if I totally take your mind away from you, there is nothing left. There is no reality, right? So when you come to mind, now you have to start taking inventory from morning to night as you listen to the chatter of the mind. What is the mind saying? If you start writing it down, the majority of the thoughts, positive or negative. That's part number one. Part number two is you are listening to the conversation the majority of the time of the less than 5% of the conscious mind. How much access do you have into the hardware of subconscious mind, which contains more than 95% of the information? All of your actions, your behaviors is from the subconscious mind. Your childhood, the quality of the 7 years of your childhood. How was your upbringing? The wounds, the traumas, all of this, plus your teenage, plus the later on, everything is recorded in this hard drive. So even if you are watching the less than 5%, it is still not going to be helpful enough. Why? Because like I said, over 95% of however you and I act and feel comes from the hidden agendas of the subconscious mind. Therefore, if you want to manifest your desire, it's not as easy as every YouTuber or anyone talks in social media. You really have to not to only get to know what's happening in the conscious mind, but also have to know what's going on in the subconscious mind. Many times I said to you guys, I said 10 to 15 seconds before it comes to my awareness that what action I am taking or not taking, 10 or 15 seconds before that, the subconscious mind has already decided. I am not the one who's making the decision. Subconscious mind is. So if I really want you guys to hear what I'm saying, if 10 to 15 seconds before it even becomes to your attention, if you're going to eat the chocolate or not to eat the chocolate, if you're going to go to the gym or not to go to the gym, if 10 or 15 minutes second before you realize the result of the action, subconscious mind has already decided that for you. So who are you? How much power you have to manifest your desires? Who is in charge? Who is running the show? 95-96% subconscious mind. Why do we call this hidden agendas of the subconscious mind? Okay? So that's, if you want to work in third dimension, if I'm at this level of consciousness, then I have to realize that my subconscious mind is making the decision for me before it even comes to my awareness. So manifestation is a lot harder than what they tell us to do, right? So your second step will be to get to really know the mind, the conscious part and the subconscious part of it. The third step is that the universe is vibrating. Everything in the universe is vibration. Energy is knowledge. Energy is information. So oftentimes I say, I'm a healer, I'm a shaman, I read people's energy. What am I really saying? I'm saying the information that's in the energy is information. So if you don't know the energy, and I see oftentimes people really can't read energy. Somebody could have an awful energy, but has a beautiful face, and is so well spoken, and they even use the love language. Oh, I love you. You're so beautiful. Have you lost weight? You look great. Because you cannot read the energy, you just believe the words. But words, although they have energy, but if it's fake, you get fooled by the language. This is why I often say, I don't listen to what people say. I see how they act. It's in the action of someone. Otherwise, I can tell you that I'm such a great person, you don't know. I just do this or this or that. But then again, when you look at my action, you see that my action doesn't really follow up what I'm saying. So it's extremely important to be able to read energy, because energy is information. How do you become really good, a master of reading energy? Can you tell me? How can you become the master of reading energy? When you overcome the mind. The minute you overcome the mind, the ego disappears. The ego is also created in the mind. So if you overcome the mind, when it comes to the time that you're separated from your mind and you don't listen to the mind, and you are also able to quiet down the mind, don't pay attention to anything that is saying, that's when you come to your higher power. That's where you can read energy. That's why you feel the energy and you read the information that's in the energy. Otherwise, you have a desire. You set up plans. These are the steps that I'm going to take to achieve my goal and have my desire show up in my reality. Yet, you cannot read energy. you can take a step, but you can take this step with someone who is in lower vibration or lower frequency than you are, or this person is your partner, and this makes it much harder for you to hold on to a higher vibration, because the other person energy, it's so low in frequency that is constantly pulling you down, right? Even if you're aware of it, you are not realizing that we are impacted by everyone around us. The only way that I cannot get affected by other people's energy is awareness. It's coming from a higher consciousness. Seeing the person, listening to what they're saying, getting their emotions, but know when they're speaking the truth or when they are not. Right? And in order to do that, again, you have to separate yourself from the mind and the ego. Okay? So once you get to do this, then you're going to master your emotion. I did 2 webinars about this, mastering your emotions. Once you master your emotion, your mind can do or say anything, and you are able to feel good and hold your vibrations up. And it's in that the universe is constantly matching up your vibration. Your vibration is coming from your emotional body. If you can hold your vibration high, the universe is just mirroring you back. So it's not about how much action you are taking. I talk about having discipline, but even it's not about so much about having discipline. It's all about, how do I feel? Where am I vibrating at? How do I feel? Where am I vibrating at? It's all about information. The universe is just a mirror reflecting back. How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel? Right? You can also have your vision. So let's say your mind is telling you the economy is really bad. The economy is going to crash. You hear that from your mind. Again, the exercise that I told you. Separate yourself from the mind. Tell yourself, I am an atom from the wholeness. There is no lack or scarcity in the universe. The lack and scarcity that we're experiencing is from the mind. Okay? So I'm going to wrap up this live. Please don't forget to listen to this live a few times. Not while you're multitasking, when you really sit down in a quiet place, or you can walk, but you fully listening what I'm saying. And also keep listening over and over to this live. Please don't forget to share, because once you're sharing, you're putting some energy out there. You're circulating the energy. By you sharing, circulating the energy will come back to you. So share this live with as many people as you can. When you watch the live, please save it, like, share. If you haven't subscribed on my YouTube channel yet, it's Sudhi Burnett English or Sud Guru. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel. And also I have 2 months of free webinar about higher consciousness. And please don't forget to do yourself a favor and watch that 2 months live. Love you all. Hope you all come to a higher consciousness, reach a higher consciousness, and therefore you will see that your desires are already there. It's only the ego mind that's separating you from all your desires. Love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.